Hey there and welcome back. So today, as you can see, we're just doing a bit of an update. I do apologise that there wasn't one last month. I've been trying to do one each month, but unfortunately, well, I was ill for quite a few weeks, so I haven't really been up here much to sort anything out. But as you can see, we have got our complete track setup down. So we have finally made our decision. So we've gone for a second and a third radius track, just the two. We're not doing 3 tracks for this layout. Left hand set of points, which is coming off, which is going to lead to a siding. Then over on this side, we've actually found a use for our curved points. So this is going to be one long siding going all the way around. And then we have a little section here so that we can shunt off. As you can see, we have the level crossing, which, yes, it does work. It's not motorized or anything, but that looks really nice. As we're then coming round, we've got a little project that we've been working on in the background, just to give us an idea for building wise. And it kind of is a good little thing. So if we, as I'm falling over, if we pop the building down there, if you do get hold of a couple of buildings as you're putting your track down, if that's something that you want, it is kind of cool because it again gives you an idea on like scale, size. Well, obviously you know what scale it's going to be, but it gives you an idea of the size of the building and on how much or what you want to incorporate into your layout. And it gives you a good idea to see, you know, what parts that you would like to do as which. Now if we go to the back here, this bit along the back is going to be our main station. Now, as you can see, just above the shadow of the camera here, this little section here, the station is going to go further on. Now, as you can see, that is quite close. But what we're going to do, we're going to trim down some sections over there so it's going to wrap around really, really nicely. And then off to this side, we've got our points to link the 2 tracks together. You don't have to do that, but if you want to shunt from, like I said, these, which will come to in a sec, inner sidings all the way up to the inside track, it's a great little thing to do. And then coming off to the left, we have got our 3 sidings. Now, if you remember, I did have this with quite a bit of a curve on, and I had a subscriber mention to me regards with larger locomotives having possible difficulty with the amount of curvature on this going left and right. For bigger locos, I could have a problem with derailing. So I've taken the advice from that subscriber and we've changed the way this is. So we just have the 1 point going off to a long siding, which is gonna kind of be like a bit of a working shed. And then we've got our Y side, Y set of points here, which is just going to go straight out. And that is absolutely brilliant. So this is how our track is going to look. Now, I'm not going to show you because, yeah, it is a bit of a boring thing to see someone just knocking nails into a track. But I'll just talk to you very quickly about track and laying it down. Sorry, I do apologise that the camera's shaking. So let's just zoom in a little bit here. So as you can see, you've got your track down, and also we're just going to talk about spacing quite briefly too. So you've got your track, you have got your pins, and yeah, as you could probably guess, and just get one of these out, your pins are very small. There are different sizes that you can get, or different lengths should I say, but you can see here these are quite small, they're quite fiddly. And if I just swap hands for 1 second, as you can see, if you are trying to knock one of these pins in, it's very, very close to your fingers. And that's unfortunately how this one happened. Not with this track, but with something else. Now, there is a little something that you can do. I know out there are various, you know, like little bits like 3D printed or little plastic track layers, what you can get, what will help you to, oh, sorry for that, what will help you to, you know, not get your fingers, but some of them are a bit close, and yeah, they are still a little bit on the close side. So what my recommendation is something like this. Now you can see these, the electrical wire strip is what I used in the last video, but you just get our camera to focus, that would be fantastic. There we go. As you can see, I can hold that in perfectly well with one hand. My fingers will be nowhere near this, and I run minimal risk of whacking myself. So this is a great little idea just to save those hands. Plus as well, again, if someone is doing this who for whatever reason may not be the steadiest with the hands, it's just a little bit of extra safety. And if there's anybody younger wishing to try you know, they want to be more involved with laying the track down, if they do it kind of this way, it's a lot safer for them too. Because, you know, for me, you want to try and include as many people of all and any ages into building up this. You know, it shouldn't be down to just, you know, one person or an adult. You know, you want everyone to be involved in all parts. So let's talk a bit. Yes, you did see the hand. So let's talk a little bit about track spacing. Now, as you can see here, we have our two sets of points joining the track. Fantastic. And the good thing with this is that you have your perfect gap between the tracks. So the reason why, now the rest of this, if you see here, there's one there, there is one here, so this is tacked down, so I'm not going to be able to move this around too much. And I will tell you the reason why these aren't fully in at the moment. But let's talk about track gap. So can I do this? Right, no, I can't do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this piece of track here. So on a straight, it doesn't really matter. You can have these tracks quite literally right next to each other, unless there's anything large overhanging on the train. It will be fine. It won't touch, it won't, you know, they won't collide or do anything like that, you know, brilliant. However, when they are going around the corner, the train body moves out across, and as the train's turning, you will notice that the front will stick out, the back will stick out, things like that. And if you get, say, one of the Pendolino trains, as they are going round, as well as pointing out, they also tilt over too. So it moves everything closer towards your next track. If you have a single track, you kind of don't really need to worry about this. But with twin tracks, or 3, 4, however many you want to put down, this is going to be an issue. So the reason, well, not the reason should I say, but that's why that you need to space your tracks out. I mean, obviously, you know, these tracks you see are lined up with this. If this track was, say, out here sort of thing, then, you know, you're not going to worry about it. You know, it's going to be quite fine. But if you're running two tracks normally and quite close together like this, then you're going to want them spaced out in the right way. So not only will it help, say, if you're putting stations down, things like that, especially if you buy the Hornby station, because they're kind of sometimes a little bit preset with the way that they are. They give you a good gaps to make sure that they sit over on either side. So what we did was, if you go online and if you really want to get into it, you can get all the measurements and everything, and I will tell you that it's approximately, I think it's 67 mil between the tracks. So if you don't really want to get into that, like, which is a bit boring, don't get me wrong, then what you can do is this. You have your set of points here, your set of points there. So as you can see, when these are in, that gives you your perfect distance. So to keep that distance around the track, or to help you keep that distance, you can either buy a spacer. If you have if I can get my words out, if you have a level crossing like this, you can see the track is already spaced apart the way it should be. And then the easy way to do it is with a little block of wood. So if you get this block of wood, pop it in between like that. As you can see, that is a perfect distance on the straights. And if we go to the curve, that fits in perfectly in between. And what you can do, you can have a couple like that. And then as you are working around your track, then what you can do is you can say tack down this little bit, you know it's spaced right, go on to the next section. But what I would recommend to make sure that you get it level all the way around is simply start off with the straight section first. Because with your straight section, when you've got them together, you will notice that let's go to this one, that the ends of your straights will, there we go, just snap change of the camera. Your end of your straights will finish at the same point, and then your curves will then start to flow around. And by following that and going all the way around your track, you will then find that you get the perfect distance between both of your tracks. So you could pretty much run anything you want, and you should not run a risk of colliding with anything. So that is a great little thing too. So the last little bit I am going to talk to you about is underlay. Now, there are a lot of different things that you can do. You can just lie this down like this. You can put some underlay down, which is like a foam. But the thing what I'm going to try and use, which I've never used before, is a roll of cork. Now, I've done a bit of research. I've heard a lot of people say that this is one of the best ways to insulate underneath the track. And by that we mean sound deadening, because they can be quite noisy when they're running around on the boards. And what we'll do when this is down, I am going to do like a little comparison. So we're going to run some trains on my dad's layout downstairs, which doesn't have anything like this on it. And then we're going to run some trains and like push some coaches around, things like that, on this layout on the tracks that does have the cork down. So we can actually see what the difference is. And from what I've been told, it does make quite a difference. So this comes, as you can see, in a roll. There's various different ways that you can buy this. But the way to make the most out of this, what we're going to do is we're going to cut off the pieces that we need just wide enough to go underneath the track. So as you're doing that, I said I won't show you cutting out and popping all this down, because I don't think it would be the most interesting thing. So I'm just going to tell you very briefly what to do. So if you get a pen like this, and then as you've got your track down, like I said, you just put a few little tacks in to make sure it's in the right place. What you can then do is simply take your marker pen, draw around the track. Yeah, I am looking through the cameras and trying to do this. And then that does two things. One, it shows you exactly where your track's going to go. And two, if you just roughly, like I said, tack down your entire layout, you can draw around every single section of track. Then you can take up all the pieces, you can cut and stick this down in place, and then you know when you relay the track is in the perfect position with minimal wastage of this. And also when you put your track back down, that you know you won't have any problems. Now, I mean, it's entirely up to you. You could get this, you could put this down on the whole entire layout and then put your track down. But it depends what you're after. If you're not really going to think or need that it's going to be a requirement for the inside, because I am trying to do this a little bit, you know, it's as budget friendly as I can. So we'll see how much of this that we can get out of one roll. So let me have a little think. I think that's about everything what I wanted to cover for today. I hope you've enjoyed this little layout update. I'm feeling a lot better now, so hopefully we'll be back to another one each month. So then next month what we'll do, we'll probably go through some of this being laid down. We'll go through we'll do a comparison test with and without the cork being down. And then yeah, hopefully that's the next bit that we can show you. And then what we can do from there is we can actually get onto the ballasting side of things. Now there is one last little thing that I will say, and that is this track has been tested, so I know it's all working. I didn't really want to show that again on camera, because all it is literally putting a power track down, running the train round, running a couple of different trains to make sure that everything is okay. Because in my collection I have some newer trains and I have some older trains. Now, you would think with a newer train, the amount of pickups, obviously the more modern technology and what have you, what's in them, you think that they will run perfectly on the layout, and in theory they should do. So the power is, I'm going to go through that another time. As you can see, I've got these ready here. But what I would say is, if you have a newer locomotive or an older locomotive, I would try some of each. I have a little 040 train that I used to test, because as we all know, 040s are a bit more funny when it comes to these points. So I know if my little 040 at a reasonable speed is getting across all the points fine, it's going up and down every little bit of track fine, because it is the one that I have, it is a little bit more, how do I say it, it is a bit more finicky with its power. So I know that if that little thing will go around the whole track, then basically anything will, and the newer stuff, there should not be a single problem with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if it seems like I've been kind of waffling on a little bit, but yeah, I did want to just to go over this. I didn't kind of want to just show you me whacking nails in and things like that. I thought it might be better just to talk you guys through this. But however, if you would like to see some of that, then let me know, and it is something that that I will come back on, do a bit of a video. But yeah, so there is our layout, there is how it's going to look. I'm really made up with this. And I know people are thinking here as well, well, that point is coming back on itself here, so how is it going to get power? When we're using the track, this bit and this here, this will be the track what we switch over to DCC. So we're going to power this section of track here. We're going to put a little switch in so that we can turn and isolate this little piece of track off. So on DC, if I've got locos in here, then it won't affect anything what's in there. And on DCC, I can flick the power, make this permanently powered, so any locos what I do have in this bit, then I can just operate with no problems. So anyway, I know I said it a little minute ago, but I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you like where we're up to. We've made a couple of changes from recommendations, and when you're laying track, you will need a hammer, so make sure you be careful, save those thumbs. And with that being said, again, I hope you're liking what we're doing with the layout. We shall be back next month with another video, another update of the progress, how we're doing, and hopefully a little bit more of like a fitting down tutorial. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe, thumbs up, and as always, we shall see you in the next video.